What's happening? What's going on? Shine family again. This is another video. It's not a whole nother video. This video is gonna tune into the other one. It's going to collaborate in with the other one. Let me put it that way. But I'm back at y'all again. Get myself situated here. I'm here at this store. I told you guys I was going. I'm definitely these next few days, weeks, whatever. I'm gonna try to go and give y'all some of these full videos here. Is what I'm trying to go ahead and do. Currently at my first stop for today. Getting live unloaded. Each one of these stops, we gotta go to terminals. I gotta get live unloaded. Each of us that's on this account. Yeah, that's pretty much the way this thing works. It's a beautiful morning. I might just say I'm up here in where am I? I'm in Cleveland, Georgia. If anybody kind of knows where that at, that's up here in this northeast? Or is it I want to say this northeast part of Georgia, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's not the western side. It's the eastern side. Not too far from North Carolina up here. I can tell you that. Maybe an hour, maybe a little bit less. Just all depends. But yeah, this is where I'm at here. These typically, given this account I'm on with as you might see the name here, JB. Given the account that I'm on now, y'all might ask me too. Why is he wearing that and this? Yeah, I'm on the verge of getting jackets. It's just right now, it's pretty much all I had to wear. So, that's the reason why you don't see my because this is my company logo, Georgia Magic Logistics. It looks a little messy now, but I got a new design that I just had one of my sister friends or co-workers, one of her colleagues created for me. She's in line of business with that. If she's down and cool with it, I'm gonna kind of get with her. And what I'll do is as these videos go on, I'll tag her. She'll be another one I go to term of putting her stuff down and information down at the end. But yeah, the way this works here with these folks, this count I'm on, they typically take roughly about an hour. Some stores a little bit less, just all depends. Some stores a little bit more, just really depend on the day, and it depends on what they got going on in that store. But for the most part, you tend to have some of these stores, they're pretty decent. Every now and then you have one or two of them, maybe three kind of go out where you're sitting in there docked for about two hours some change. But it's not bad though, given I think I told you guys I'm contracted with JB Hunt, that whole little deal. And for the ones that know about the community of, the leasing side, being leased on one of these companies, you bring your truck on and you lease it on. Not saying you come and get a truck from them, because, that's somewhat in a way another different ball field. I mean, you're still dealing with the same overhead, all that stuff, their truck note, all that stuff. But as I've made mention to my cousins, and as I made mention to my cousin, as I made mention to my brother-in-law and a few other ladies or guys I might have came across, when you go to term of leasing a truck from a company, through a company, you tend to have a little bit more overhead. Or let me rephrase that. You don't have a little bit more overhead. The company has more overhead. They have a little more, you don't really have as much leverage versus, kind of what that company may have. That company, what it is. If you lease a truck through them, what's going to happen is they more or less have the power of kind of regulating the speed on the truck, as well as also to the, it depends on their companies, because all these companies, they're set up the exact same way structure-wise as far as getting loads to their customers, that whole little deal, making sure they got the drivers to do it and people in the office to make sure the paperwork, all that stuff is situated. But at the end of the day, it all depends on what their structure is set up like. You got some where they may, some may allow you to kind of just run that truck, whatever, however you want to run it. And then you got other companies where, there's some strings and stuff attached to it, which, the ones I've seen, seem like it. You tend to find more of those where you have more strings attached than you find ones, unless you're getting your truck from like a dealership or say one of these third party leasing companies. But even if you get the truck through a third-party leasing company, chance is you might still walk out with the exact same thing. You may still end up coming out with, you may come out the exact same way. You may be looking at the exact same way. But man, I'm praying y'all being productive out there. Praying this day is going beautiful for y'all, and praying things is going the way y'all have it. But yeah, I tell you, I'm saying a lot of but it's that type of day. It is that type of day. For the ones I know that know it, it's just it be that day. It's just that day because it's just a day. But at the end of the day, I do thank God, man, for just waking me up, blessing me in my right mind, be in my right mind, see another day, and just a beautiful, awesome day. But like I said, I'm currently here at a Tractor Supply, my first store, and this is what we're doing here. This is what we're doing here. I don't know if many of y'all had opportunity to tap into the what I was telling y'all this morning, or what I stated in the earlier video. Tap into to look at that driver. I'm pretty sure many of you guys, if not all, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people has looked in that Colorado driver. And I think what I seen yesterday, what I seen on TV, because my TV, I got one of these smart TVs, like what they make nowadays, where you can get on YouTube, you can kind of get on. Well, I'm not gonna say I got a smart TV. My PlayStation does, whatever. But that's what I want to get me, one of these smart TV. And what it is, I was looking at something while I was on there. They were saying that Colorado driver, it's been, or either my cousin, it might have been my cousin that sent me that, was saying it's been, what is he's received, I believe, more than 4 million signatures or something like that. They said this guy has received, whatever, to get him out of there, give him clemency. But I feel as though too, that driver, even though it's wrong in terms of what happened, the end result of things, that right there should have been more of a lesson taught rather than a book being thrown down at this guy. And not just saying to him, not just saying to his life, or, but also too, that should have been a lesson for others versus, the judge just saying, we're going to slap 110 years on you. No, that's wilding. That's wilding. Because, if you look at the you look at the reality of things, you got people out here that has killed people before and has murdered, ain't no telling how many people, but you've had people kill people before, and I'm pretty sure has been able to get out of there, get out from behind bars on good behavior over 4 years, 5 years, whatever it is. And that's what I'm saying. I'm just, that right there is just, that's wild. That's wild. But I tell you, I just tell you that there's so many people out here that does not know. So many people out here that does not know about these trucks. And that is my purpose. That's what I want these videos to serve as, stepping stones. Not, pointing fingers at anybody out here, because, we all of us, kind of go through what we go through. All of us. All of us make mistakes. None of us is perfect. None of that stuff. And I definitely want these videos to serve as that, as a stepping stone for each and every one of us, including myself. Don't get me wrong. But I definitely want this to just be a community of love, of productivity, of encouragement, and lessons being taught is what it is. Because at the end of the day, whether it be me, you, or anybody, guess what? It's time to shine. That's what it is. It's time to shine. That's what this channel called. It's time to shine. And I mean that for each and every person. Each and every person. Because I know, we've been through the rough. If things, I'm pretty sure, I know we've been through the rough of things. And, not saying it, it's a lesson still to be taught. But, we have been through, we've been over a hurdle. Here, as far as this pandemic and you name it. And I pray for the ones You might have family members in the hospital, and you name it. They got that stuff. Whether you caught it or whatever it is, I pray for, each and every person that's going through it. Or got a family member or somebody that's in there that they can relate to this. Because, man, it's so hard nowadays, people to kind of find. It's so hard nowadays for shops to find mechanics, for stores to find employees, for dealerships. Man, you name it. Just trickle on down, restaurants find employees, to hotels. Man, to you name it. It's where people, products that need to be shipped out to consumers and customers and just people in general. It's things can't be, they can't get it in time enough, because the lack of people that they have. But man, I tell you, but it is good to be among the living again. Have breath in my body again. I tell you, I'm pretty sure you all can contest to this. Yeah, all can contest to this. But I do really want to say this real quick. The ones that's coming out here want to get into this trucking game. As I said this morning, it's not for the weak. Now, not saying it can't be done. Not saying it's just a horrible, difficult task. No, it's not that at all. Some of our brains, because I definitely know I'm definitely a person of this. Some of our minds, our brains, given if we think about something, or say if we're trying to go into something like trucking or whatever it might be, whatever the field might be, we tend to overthink things. And I just tell you, it ain't. Don't even overthink it. Just take your time as you out here. As you take your time in terms of what you're doing out here, whether regardless if you're behind the wheel of it, if you're pretty much about to get started at a school or somewhere or whatever, just take your time. Take your time. Don't be in a rush to anything. I had to learn that. And thank God I didn't have to learn it the hard way, but it was some lessons that was taught there. Whatever. I know because pretty much I pretty much came up around trucks, because, my dad had definitely did it. Drove trucks about 30-some plus years. But I do want to say that I did have a time when I was learning, when I was at this school, where me and my trainer, because I had about 3 different trainers when I was getting started. And me and his third one, because my third one was the one I pretty much got finished up with, I went on out the door with. Me and him was in Ohio. He was actually in a sleeper back here, not in this truck, in my truck. He was in a sleeper though, what I'm saying. And had the curtains closed, because, a lot of folks, when you team, or, you know how that setup is. I know these teams, I know y'all can more like contest to this, where you close the curtains to keep the sun out, maybe keep the music out if the driver, who's ever driving the truck on up there. And not saying he was trying to keep the music out, but I guess he was trying to keep the sun out, get him some rest. And it got to a point in time, me and him was in Ohio. We was up there on US 30, for the ones that know about it, up there in that, what's that, it runs through, oh, guys, man, that's taking me back a few years. But we was on US 30, I can tell you that, up in Ohio. I can tell you that. And the light turned green, because we came to a stop. I was the one driving. I come to a stop. When the light turned green to go, not just at that point in time, which is where it happened, but times before that, man, I was just in go, go, go mode, saying, oh, man, I got all these cars around me. I got all these cars. I need to get going, try to get on out their way, is what I was saying. And he himself, what had happened was, when I went to switch the gears, because I was in the manual, went in no automatic, like I am now, driving a manual. Y'all see that? And what it is, when I went to switch the gear to go to term of put it in gear, switch gears, actually, I take that back. I didn't switch gears. What had happened was, I went to take my foot off the clutch, for the ones that know. I know y'all know, the ones that know, it's in this manual game. And I took my foot off the clutch too fast, it stalled the motor. And for the ones that don't know this, when it comes to these manual trucks, yeah, if you have 3 pieces of contact in here. You know, you got your clutch, you got your brake, and then you got your gas pedal. For the ones that do know, y'all can pretty much pass this knowledge on to the next people too. But the ones that don't know, yeah, when it comes to these manual trucks, yeah, you have, you know, your gear shift is what they call it, which is right here in the middle of the truck. And then you got your 3 pedals, your clutch, which is off to your far left, your brake, which is in the middle, and then you got your gas pedal off to the far right. And your clutch, you hold that clutch down because these manuals might be the same way with the car. Somebody that's driven a manual car, because I've never driven a manual car. I've driven a truck as manual, 18-wheeler, but I've never driven a manual car. The ones that's driven the manual cars, y'all can pretty much kind of, you know, say if it is the same setup. I'm not quite sure to that, but I know when it comes to these trucks here, if you take your foot off the clutch too fast, it'll go to term of stalling that motor. And what I mean by stalling is, it'll turn the motor off. It'll shut the motor off. Where literally you don't have to put the parking brakes and that on the truck, but you have to take the gear shift, which is this piece I just, this right here. You would have to take this out of gear. Now you see this right here. This has all the different gears. You have to go to term of putting this in neutral, which neutral is about right in this little area in between these lines right here. Neutral sits right in there. But that's how that setup goes. Yeah, you have to put it back in neutral, and then turn it. If you have the key on in the on position like it's running, you have to turn it off, and then turn the key to the off position, and then turn around and turn it back on like you're starting it back up. And as long as that gear shift, what I just showed you guys, is in manual, you don't even have to even set the brakes. You don't even have these two. You do not have to set these two. Don't mean. What I mean by that, you don't have to pull these out. You can keep those pushed in, which they're pushed out now because I'm parked. But if you got them pushed in, you can keep those pushed in. Just make sure this is in this is in neutral. So in neutral, you should be good. You know, where you can go to term of starting the truck back up, it'll start right back up. And then, you know, you can put that gear shift back in gear then and get on down the road. Just don't put it in that high gear. With your high gears is right here. They call this a splitter, which separates these. It's right here. See, this is reverse. So, you know, the R, that's what that stands for, reverse. The 2, where the 2 is, the 1, the 3, the 4, the 5, those are your low gears. Now, this is a 10-speed. For the ones, I know you do have folks out here know this. This is a 10-speed. Now, the ones that's not in the black, but they're up top, that's your high gears. That's what this is for. That's what this is for. Once this goes up, you push this on upward, that puts the gears in that high gear. That's how you able to catch these high gears here. Now, as long as you don't have that splitter up and it's in a high gear, you won't have that stalling. But also, too, don't have it in no, even if that splitter isn't up and say you're trying to put this in 5th or 6th gear to take off, yeah, you might run into the exact same thing. You want to start in either about 1 or 2, you know, is ideal, you know, until you get comfortable. Now, once you get comfortable with it, you may be able to kind of get started in 3, depending on what you got on your back, depending on what's loading your trailer back there, whatever. But that's how that's set up. And that's quite frankly what ended up happening to me. I wasn't even really the gear shift. It was more or less that clutch. I went to push my, I'll show you guys these. This is your clutch. This is your clutch where my foot is at. That's your clutch. This is your brake pedal. That's your gas. So when I mean clutch, I mean in this right here. Now, it don't really matter how this is set up. Your gear shift, you're going to always have this. You're going to always have this regardless. But this right here, you either have a 10-speed in the truck or you have where they call 13 speeds and 18 speeds. Depending on those setups for that gear shift right there, you not only have your splitter right here, you'll have a little red piece right here, which is another little piece of tool. It'll just kind of sit off to the side right here, a red piece. I believe the 18 speeds I think they are. I believe the 18 speeds are green, and I believe the 13 speeds are red, if I'm not mistaken. And y'all correct me if I'm wrong on that. But I know it's one. You never got those two colors, but I might either have it backwards where, you know, but 13 and 18 is what it is. Now, speaking on that, Dale, I will say this. Me personally, I wouldn't go to term of getting no 13, 18. I mean, even though, yeah, you get more horsepower out of it. And if if that fits your lifestyle, your cup of tea, so be it. But me personally, I wouldn't really go to term of getting no 13, 18. Reason being, because, yeah, you be saving some more fuel, because knowing you got more gears, but you're more or less at the same time, you're only getting that, like, say, if you have, like, heavier loads you're pulling, excavators or bulldozers or oversized loads, that whole little deal, that whole little setup is, when those come in that, don't get me wrong, you have, you know, those folks that love that want to go to terms of just pulling a regular dry van, which is like what I'm pulling on intermodal container now, that 13, 18. That's fine too. You're saving more, more fuel with that, and you got more gears to choose from. But that's pretty much what that setup is. At 13 and 18 is to pull more weight. Is what it is. Now, like I said, you can have that where you're pulling that, or you can just stick on with a 10-speed or whatever, because the 10-speed, either one to get the job done. Now 10-speed, it wouldn't be ideal. I'm gonna just be real with you. 10-speed wouldn't be real. It wouldn't really be smart to get a 10-speed if you're pulling like heavy loads. Not unless your setup, your setup game is pretty good. You got your truck tuned, but it still may not be ideal to get a 10-speed and knowing you're pulling excavators and, some heavy machine and equipment. May be more ideal to go ahead and get you that 13 and 18, going and tapping in that, which it ain't hard. Me personally, I don't really know how to really switch them, because, I've never driven a 13 and 18, but I will say this, you can put your mind to it in terms of what it is. I'm pretty sure I can get on out there and go to term of doing it too. I've never driven one, but I'm pretty sure I can get on out there and do it, because there was a point in time I had never driven a 10-speed, and I got out here and started rolling with it. These 10 speeds. But yeah, that's what that is, guys. Pray you guys all doing well today, having productive days, and yeah, being a Monday, yeah, is what the day is. Today is the 20th, Monday the 20th. Yeah, but I wish y'all well. I just wanted to tap into y'all, give y'all this is what I'm pretty much kind of looking at much. This is what I'm just kind of just looking out in the parking lot right now. This is the back side of the store. And you might see my mirror right here. That's the for the ones that don't know. Let's see if I can get my camera to focus here. The ones that don't know, what you see in this mirror right here, the truck, that's a dock. They call that a dock for the ones that don't know. And pretty much, this is what we pull here. Pull the side of these what they call them, dry vans. What you see in the mirror there, they call these regular trailers dry vans. Yep. But yeah, that's how how this game go with things. And like I said, pretty much what I do on this count, it's all we haul. We haul feed. This is what we haul, baby. Haul feed. But family, pray y'all stay in tune, stay spiritually motivated, good vibes, and knowing y'all win in the end.